What's up, guys? Capital G here. This is going to be the start of a new series that I'm going to be doing. That's basically going to be a strategy guide on how to beat a lot of the tier 1 decks and what good cards to side deck against them. Especially some of the newer decks that are popping up, like Dragunity and stuff like that. Decks that people might not be aware of how to play against, even a deck like Fish OTK. So it's going to be broken down into a bunch of small segments, and I want to hear responses from you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Slay the Dragon. Because Dragunity's favorite play is often to summon Stardust first turn and to summon Stardust Dragon early, often, and consistently. And let's pretend that this right here is a Stardust and not a Majestic. Because that's the deck's favorite play, and they use it to protect Dragon Ravine and to protect their future summons and future combos that they are planning to unleash. It's very vital for you to have one card answers to Stardust that don't involve attacking, because these are basically gold. One of the best ways to crack their lock is to just basically kill the dragon. Often if you have MST going second, you really can't use it if they've already put a Stardust on the field. Cards like DD Warrior Lady, which can be splashed into any Miracle Heroes deck or any anti-meta / stun decks. Cards like Evac, which are already good meta picks, but that can instantly bounce a Stardust away. Still giving you a 1-for-1, and they didn't make any advantage because they traded their ducks and all of that to make the Stardust. And Plants and Salvo decks, you have cards like Chaos Sorcerer, which are an instant +1 and get rid of Stardust. And then cards like Dimensional Prison, which are, again, a one-card answer to Stardust that don't involve you attacking. These cards are absolutely golden, you know what I mean? Because the deck relies so much on putting all of its power into one 8-star synchro. If you can easily take care of that 8-star synchro, you're going to have very good odds on beating the deck. In fact, the fact that Dragunity uses Stardust so heavily, I even consider siding out Mirror Force, because after they get the Stardust, it's probably not going to be that effective. And even if you kill the first turn Stardust, if you cannot stop their next Ducks play, it's probably going to be for another Stardust. This card just isn't live very much against the deck. Fight fire with fire. The reason I say fight fire with fire, guys, is because oddly enough, Dragunities really struggle against opposing Stardust Dragons, and especially if you can get Shooting Star Dragon out. Protect the Stardust Dragon is actually one of the best ways to beat Dragunity, because when you look at the deck, they only run about 13 to 14 monsters. That includes 2 Effect Veilers, which are generally going to be dead against the Stardust Dragon. And the only way that they can get over a Stardust is simply by trying to Synchro. Well, that's exactly where the Protect the Stardust Dragon comes into play. A lot of their best plays, like Legionnaire with Atlas, make a lot of advantage. They can blow up a monster, then blow up a back row. Same thing with Icarus Attack. Well, Stardust Dragon on the field basically cuts off a lot of their best plays. You also lock down Mirror Force, MST, and Dark Hole. 2 cards that can really just bring them back into the game. These are basically how you would take out anything such as a Baronic, which is generally, I've gotten Shooting Star Dragon out against Dragunities, and Baronic is basically the only answer in their entire deck that they have to it. Also, another good tidbit is if you have Stardust Dragon on the field, they also can't even attempt the Trident OTK, because when Trident comes to the field, he has to blow something up. You can just change Stardust Dragon to its effect, boom, bam, they can't win. You know what I mean? So this card puts a lot of pressure on their deck. If you can get Stardust out early, it's a really good play. Basically, all you have to worry about is Baronic. You use your warnings and Book of Moons to defend against a Baronic or bigger Synchros, and you will basically win the game. Anti-air warfare. There isn't much that the 2 Solemns don't stop, and these guys are no exception. But they are very expensive in life point cost, and they should be used as a last resort. So we'll flip those down for now. Chain Disappearance works wonders against Dragunity, because if you can hit the Phalanx, then basically they have a seriously hard time trying to synchro into a level 8, which is their whole ball game. So this card is definitely ace against them. And then Effect Veiler and DD Crow. They might be -1s, but they keep these birds grounded. You know what I mean? If you hit them with Veiler, then they just have these guys on the field, and these guys aren't impressive by any standard by themselves. Same thing goes with DD Crow, and it sets them back a turn. I know that they can play Dragon Ravine and search more of these guys the next turn, but especially if you Crow their only tuner in the graveyard, it puts them in a tight spot and it keeps the tempo in your favor. You know what I mean? You might be able to draw another out by your next turn or actually just win the game. You know, you have to remember that ducks can't fly if you clip the wings. So these cards keep those guys from even getting to their level 8 synchros, which is their entire game. Go for the gusto. What I mean when I say that is, because this deck plays field card spells, much like Gravekeepers, that means they can't play Gores, because it'll never actually be live. Unlike decks like Fish OTK or Plant Synchro, you don't have to worry about this deck dropping Gores or Trigodia and messing up your OTK. So when you have the green light via Giant Trunade or Trap Stun or MST or something like that, you've really got to go for it against this deck. The only off-field defense that the deck really runs is Effect Veiler, but in this format, you should basically expect that out of anything, to be completely honest. So if you can still swarm the field with Synchros, or you can just play like another win condition card like Monster Reborn, which lets you get extra monsters on the field, you know, things like limiter removal, you definitely have to go for it, you know what I mean? This deck gives you that window because it can't run the off-field defense. So definitely take advantage of that. Taking out the dead weight. This deck all begins and ends with Dragon Ravine and Stardust, so you basically need cards that are definitely going to be live and stop that entire play. I've already explained why I don't think Mirror Force is that good against the deck. The deck won't go for big pushes unless it has anti-trap cards or it has Stardust on the field. So I've never really felt like Mirror Force was an ideal card in this matchup. Trap Dust Shoot is another card that is absolutely amazing right now. But because the deck, much like Samurai's, runs, you know, around 14 or less monsters, it's probably not going to be that good. In addition, the deck can also pitch some of its monsters to Card of Consonance, so the chances of getting a good Trap Dust Shoot off aren't very good. And even if you do Dragon Ravine, they can just search that monster right back anyway. 7 Tools of the Bandit. This deck basically runs a pretty simple and basic trap lineup, warnings, solemn judgment, stuff like that, your basic trap lineup. But again, the deck all starts with Dragon's Ravine, and I feel like if you can take out cards like 7 Tools for cards like Dust Tornado or more Magic and Trap Destruction to get rid of Dragon's Ravine, you can basically just, you know, you cut the head off and the body dies. I feel like that's a better option. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys liked this video. Tell me what you think, if you liked it or if you felt like there were some cards that I could have put in. Thanks for watching and peace.